Magandang gawin po, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. At muli po narito po tayo sa ating programa na Kabayani na ating tinutunghayan tuwing Miyerkules ng gabi. Alas 8 po tayo at nakapanood sa Facebook page ko sa Channel 31, Channel 31 Online TV at dito sa ating CSCTV YouTube channel. No? At pasensya na po kayo dahil nagkakaroon kami ng technical difficulties dito sa studio, kaya medyo actually mabagal yung aking pasok dito sa ating yung feed, no, kaya nakatutok ako mismo dito sa aking screen at pagkatapos monitor ko din sa ating sa ating CSCTV kasi doon tuloy-tuloy naghahang ako dito sa aking screen, no. So anyway, ano pa mga nangyari ngayong linggo na ito? Well, napakadami, no? Na mga meetings, no, about culture, no, about NGCA, no. Pero ngayon po wala po ako sa naka-remote po ako, remote broadcast po ako, no, dahil ako po ay nasa Paranaque, nagsasagawa ng isang research, no, itong sa Salvation Army, kaya din nila Salvas Marinas, no. At dahil dito medyo erratic ang ating internet, no. Kaya tuloy pagpasensyahan niya kung maputol tayo o ano man, no? At kung medyo malabo ang ating feed, ay siguro posibleng ulitin natin ang episode na ito. Pero ito pong episode natin ngayong gabi ay ito yung pangatlong serye ng ating research no, tungkol sa research, di ba? Na noong una tinalakay natin yung ethics ng research. Then last week pinag-usapan natin ang tungkol sa ano no, tungkol sa journal writing, no, academic writing. At ngayon ang pag-uusapan natin ay tungkol naman sa um, IP policies o tinatawag na intellectual property policies sa mga eskwelahan. At ngayong gabi po, ang kasama natin ay siyempre ang coordinator no, ng Intellectual Property Office ng DLSU University, Dasmariñas. No? Siya po ay tapos ng PhD in Political Science sa University of Santo Tomas. At well, ano kasabayan yan eh, tapos na rin siya ng coursework ng College of Law, kaya talagang marami siyang alam po sa mga legal policies related to our topic. No? Kaya hindi ko na para, at syempre kasama natin siya sa Soksay Department bilang faculty. Kaya hindi na natin pagtatagalin at ipapakilala natin si Dr. Jose Aims Rocina. Sir, magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi din, Sir Doc Calairo, and sa ating mga tagapakinig. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Sir, nasan kayo ngayon?
Nandito po tayo sa bahay lang.
Bahay na. Di ba kasama rin kayo sa research, ano? Kung na nagkakamali, sa Bataan kayo eh.
Yes sir, kagagaling lang natin sa Orani. Sa Calero, nung Sabado tayo dumating, nag-research tayo doon, nag-conduct tayo ng field research sa mga tao doon.
No? Alam niyo mga kampi, no? Mga kabayani, no? Itong Salvation Army ay nakipag-collaborate sa De La Salle University Las Marinas para magkaroon ng baseline research, no? Para sa isa mas malaking study about the upliftment of lives, no? Yung natawag nating mga vulnerables at mga marginalized, no? Kaya mabigyan ng pansin, no, ng ating pamahalaan, ng ating private sector kung ano nga ba ang maaari natin maitulong sa kanila. Kaya nakasama ako diyan sa baseline survey na yan. At ako nga ngayon ay nasa Parañaque, no? Sun Valley, patuloy po ang aming pag-research. Shout out po sa aking teammate, no? Si Dr. Nor Cachuela, no, ng Bro John, no? At tatrabaho kasi na birthday niya. Happy birthday po at magandang gabi po. No? So, Sir Ains, kailan ba kayo yes sir.
Kailan po?
Kailan ba kayo work IP sa Intellectual Property Office natin?
Yes sir, nung 2018, no, yung RC Architect may doon, medyo lumipat siya, no, na sa ibang school, and then nag-apply po kasi tayo ng patent, pero gumawa po ako nag-draft po ako, and then she recognized, no, that medyo may konti akong alam, so she supported me and then recommended me, no, to replace her. So that was 2018 to be the coordinator of the IP office.
Kayo po ba bilang coordinator meron parang special na kasanayan para maging coordinator ng IP? Lahat ba ay pwedeng maging coordinator ng Intellectual Property Office?
Basically, you must medyo kailangan kasi ng technical expertise yung IP office, no? You need to undergo trainings, no? So yung Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, nagkakandak siya ng mga trainings, so sa patent drafting, sa search, and then sa different kinds of IP, no, like copyright, trademarks, patent, industrial designs, no, geographical origins, then yung mga secret formulas. So I think it depends on the person if he has the knowledge and he has the background. No, so usually
Mhm.
IP offices in the Philippines, like in LaSalle and Saint Benilde, no, they are handled by lawyers. No, but here in UMC, hindi naman lawyer, no, isang doctor. So but all around the
Mhm.
Philippines, usually mga ano naman, may background sa law kasi there is actually a law, no, the Intellectual Property Law of the Philippines, Republic Act 8293. So under this law, nakalagay nga doon yung pag-create ng isang office, yung Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, at nakapaloob sa law na ito yung different kinds of IPs, no? And then yung mga rights
Mhm.
ng mga inventors, no? Ng mga protection given to copyright owners. So nandoon sa law. So
Mhm.
basically, you must have a knowledge of the law also to be able to function well, no, as a coordinator.
Mhm. Hmm. Pero
Sir.
kayo sir, meron ba kayong mga ano, mga specific trainings na dinaluhan para maging isang expert sa IP policies?
Yes, sir. No, we have undergone training sa UP Los Baños. Mga 2 weeks tayo doon. 1 week for the search and then another week for the patent drafting. And then dun sa IPOFIL, mga 2 weeks din tayo, nag-train din doon. And there was this
Mhm.
summer school ng IPOFIL which lasted din mga, I think, mga 3 weeks, no, or 1 month. And there have been different
Mhm.
trainings, no? And once you have undergone this training, you are now certified, no, to, of course, there is a certification exam, di PAKE ang tawag natin, na once you pass
Mhm.
this exam, you are a certified patent drafter. Medyo naka-hold ito ngayon, so in the meantime, wala pa tayong since 2014 yata, hindi na sila nag-conduct ng exam na for the
Mhm.
PAKE. So as of now,
Mhm.
yung parang mga dati pa, no? So, yun, you really have also to know the different kinds of uh, technical, no? As supposed to be, the office should have also a technical and drafter, no? And under
Mhm.
mechanical and chemical. So, then you must have also a person in charge with commercialization, because the main purpose of IP is to protect the new inventions, no? Especially that universities are mandated by CHED to produce technologies. And then these technologies will now be protected and will be commercialized. So the main objective of IP office is to produce inventions, no? So that this can be used by the people and eventually for the society and the Philippines to develop, no, using these inventions, no, these patents, and also protect industries by trademarks, and also protect the works, no, especially, for
Mhm.
example, Dr. Calero has many books, no, and so he has to, I think he has already filed copyright protection in the National Library, and some of these are also filed in the
Yeah,
Supreme
yeah.
Court. Yes, but
Mhm.
anyway, according to the copyright law, once you have created it, it's already protected, no? So yung pag-file is just an evidence uh, of that you are the creator.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm. So, sir, meaning to say na sa isang university is mandated by CHED, therefore, dapat ba lahat ng eskwelahan, no, pamantasan dapat merong IT ano, office?
Yes, sir. Supposed to be all universities and colleges in the Philippines, but as of now, there are only around 110 or 100 now that are certified by the IPOFIL as ITSOS, no,
Mhm.
Innovation and Technology
Mhm.
Support Offices. So we are one
Mhm.
of those ITSOS, no. It was the first batch
Mhm.
was 2011, and then De La Salle Dasma was 2012. So the top universities in the Philippines like Ateneo, LaSalle, UP, UST, they have ITSOs, no? And
Mhm.
uh, even those in the lower tier of universities, they have also ITSO. So basically, ITSO is once you have an ITSO, it's like you are considered that you belong to the top echelon, no? In terms of
Mhm.
academic status, because being as ITSO is not easy. No, you have to undergo inspection, accreditation, so you have to undergo trainings. So not
Mhm.
all universities and colleges in the Philippines have ITSOs. So, but it's
Mhm.
their dream. No, it's the dream of every academic institution to have an ITSO, because it's like if you have an ITSO, it's like you have this pride, no, that your university has an office which is which has the capacity, no, to file patents. So I think in
Mhm.
for example, there are only two, no, Lasal Dasma and Kapsu. So
Mhm.
uh, very prestigious yung pagiging ITSO, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, what about yung ano, halimbawa yung mga university na o mga colleges na wala pang gano'n, no, IP office. So, how could they apply or for copyright or patent their inventions or IPs, no? Saan sila pwedeng pumunta, no? Ano yung proseso na pwedeng pagdaanan ng isang faculty na meron siyang creation, no, that has to be patented?
Yes, sir. If you have no ITSO, you have to go to the university, no, which has one. So, first of all, if you do not have an office for IP, intellectual property, then one of the first things to do is to assign a person, no? Kasi wala pang ang office. So, that
Mhm.
person will be in charge with intellectual property matters, no? And so, all matters
Mhm.
relevant to IP will be given to that person, and that person
Mhm.
will now go to an ITSO accredited institution or go to IPOFIL, and then anyway, you can still go there, no, and be trained. And there is actually a monthly seminar on trademark, copyright, patents, no, industrial design. Weekly siya every month, and anybody can go there
Mhm.
and learn. No? So most of
Ah,
them are
really?
from law offices. Yes, most of them are from law
Mhm.
offices, mga lawyers, no, because they have some law offices have expertise in IP, no, intellectual property, and it's a
Mhm.
very lucrative field, no, because there are so many IP violations. That's it. No? Either you go to a university or which is accredited by ITSO, or you undergo to
Mhm.
IP, undergo trainings, and then apply, no, for accreditation. But again, as we have said, the IFOFIL is now very stringent, no, on and the
Mhm.
applications of IP applications for its sauce.
Mhm. Mhm. So you mentioned about violations, no? Ano ba ang mga usual violations sa university na may kinalaman sa intellectual property?
Usually yung paggamit ng pag-violation ng trademarks, usually ang violation, no. For example, merong school sa Bulacan, it used the name De La Salle Montessori, but it's not part of the La Salle system. So it was
Okay.
La Salle filed as a case, no, sued the school, and actually La Salle system won, no, over that university. And there's also some cases like this Colin versus Colin, no, wherein Colin, the manufacturer of electronics, and then there's another company named Colin, which is also
Mhm.
manufacturer of certain electronic materials. So
Mhm.
the original Colin filed sued the Colin because of similarities in names, no. So
Mhm.
usually that's the that's the usual violation, yung McDo, and then you make another restaurant called Mac makdo. Also, that is also uh, a violation because it's similar. You're using the trademark of another
Mhm.
person. And then also copyright is there's also a lot of violations, no? Like yung mga election jingles, they use the song
Mhm.
during campaign. That's actually a violation, and some
Mhm.
authors of these songs they sue, no, because they have no right and they did not seek permission, and they use the
Mhm.
song in their political campaigns.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yes, and also uh, trademark, copyright, patents. Usually, the patents, no, are also violated if you copied a certain formula or a certain product without and kasi 20 years eh. After 20 years, you can already it's already public domain, and the
Mhm.
product can now be copied, na, by other manufacturers, for example. So before 20 years, the inventor has an exclusive um, right to that product, and nobody, no,
Mhm.
except if he is licensed by that inventor, or he assigned his rights to that
Mhm.
institution, then that's the only time. So big companies, no, they sue each other, and so uh, there's a lot of money being paid, no, usually
Yeah.
if this is proven. So the
Mhm.
usual filing of case will be in the IPO field, and then if it will not be resolved, it goes to the director, and then after which it could go to the Court of Appeals, and finally to the Supreme Court. So it's a very long process, and just the Supreme Court is already a big deal. So it will be part of the of cases na. So it's a long process, and it's also expensive.
Yeah, wow. So we need to say talaga, no, very vital yung ano, no, yung role, no, ng intellectual property office sa isang university, because it's about ownership, right? It's about ownership and avoiding someone to use it, no? So nababanggit niyo yung ano, no, yung patent, copyright, trademark. What's the difference between the three?
Yung copyright kasi usually sa mga books, no, mga printed
Mhm.
materials, and the protection will be 50 years, no, 50 years, and then
Mhm.
no, lifetime of the author, and then after his lifetime, and 50 years after his death. So after that, it's no longer protected, although the author's name is must be accredited to him forever, no. So copyright usually sa mga printed materials, and usually sa mga songs, mga ganyan, na mga
Mhm.
sculptures, paintings, mga uh, usually the purpose of copyright is that that person can earn, no, by for example sa books, royalties, no. So if you want to use the
Mhm.
book, for example, of Dr. Calero, then you need to pay royalties, no. So that's one of
Mhm.
the rights of the author, and that work must be accredited to him, no. And then yung
Mhm.
patents naman, usually sa mga inventions ito, no. So usually it must be new, there must be an inventive step, no. And then
Mhm.
aside from uh, having an inventive step, sorry for that, uh, it must be also used for industry, no. So these are the three major components of patent. So patent is as we have said, 20 years, no. So after 20 years
Mhm.
it becomes public domain. So the purpose of patent is just to give protection to the inventor, for him
Mhm.
to take advantage of his invention, make money out of it, and then after a while it can be improved now by other persons, and these improvements can be subject to patents, no. Trademarks are
Mhm.
actually given protection to certain signs, no words or symbols like the M of McDo, no like the swoosh of Nike or the three stripes
Mhm.
of Adidas. And these are very expensive marks. No, when Mang Inasal sold its rights, as when the owner of Mang Inasal sold it to Jollibee, the trademark Mang Inasal was sold for 3 billion. No, so that cost
Wow.
3 billion.
That,
That Mang Inasal only the sign where there is the yellow and then the Mang Inasal
mm,
word. No, and
mhm.
I think all over the world the most expensive trademarks are yung Google ganyan na mga Google, mga Apple, yung Apple, yung may kagat,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Those are very Nike, very expensive, no? So usually trademarks are given protection also to to the user, no? Because kaya every there is this declaration of actual use, no, that must be filed. So after 10 years, you can renew it again. So actually,
Mhm.
trademark is
Yeah,
considered forever, no? So merong forever sa IP, yung trademark. And you will use it, just renew it every 10 years. Like for example, Coca-Cola, it's been there for decades, no?
yeah.
Just file, just continue renewing it, and then every 10 years. Okay. And then we have also this industrial design, which is limited to 15 years, no? So every 5 years, and it protects also the contours, so the color, the shape, and then the
Mhm.
utility model. I forgot the utility model is also a name also as called a petty patent because it's like a patent,
Mhm.
but it has no inventive step, and because of it's a lower category, it has only 7 years of protection, but it's
Mhm.
easy. It's easier to get approval because there is no substantive exam, no? Unlike in
Mhm.
patent, there is a substantive exam. There's only a formality examination. So utility model is easier to get, no, because there is no inventive steps. So there are others, no, like not so famous, like geographical origin, no, like the bangus from the
Mhm.
Gupan, the mango from
Mhm.
Guimaras, no. So some these are given protection, but this need to be approved by the sanggunian, no, of the place. And there's another one, the secret, no, formula like the Coke. So it's given protection, like nobody knows what's the formula of Coke or San Miguel beer, no? So it says that in Coke there are only two persons, no, knew the formula, and they cannot ride on one plane
Mhm.
together because if the plane will crash, nobody will know it. So they have to fly in separate airplanes so that the formula of
Mhm.
Coke be preserved. So
Mhm.
that's the that can also be filed.
Wow, talagang ano, no, very lucrative at the same time, very important because of its yung ownership. No? Ownership means has a corresponding cost, no? Eventually yung name. No? Pero in my case, no, I'm a writer. Sabi ko nga, yung copyright ay sa mga usually sa mga ano, no, mga writings, sa books, no. And you mentioned earlier that um, the moment na yung writer sumulat siya, automatic kanya na yon. Unless, tama ba ang pagkakaintindi ko, ipapile niya for evidence. Tama po ba
Uh,
yun?
it means that once you, for example, you wrote a song or a poem, and then once you finish it,
Mhm.
it's already yours. So you have the moral right to
Okay.
it. Now you have the right to profit from it, and so there's
Mhm.
really no need to file it in the IPO. But it's
Mhm.
also good to file it in IPO because once it is filed in the IPO, that could really be used as an evidence of your ownership. But even
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
filing that in IPO, you already receive copyright protection because the law provides that after once you have created, let's say, a song, no, or a book, you are already the owner, no. Yeah, you don't
Mhm.
need to register it, you're already the owner. So why do you need to file it in the IPOFIL in the National Library or in the Supreme Court, because if you file it there, it is very easy for you. No, you don't need to prove na I was the one, because I have already. You just go to the, it's easier, and the evidence is very
Yeah.
strong already because you filed it. But even if you don't file it, there's no need, because the law provides that once created, uh, the author already has the ownership.
Mhm. Mm. So, so meaning to say, sir, more on the legal matters, no? Evidence na ikaw ang may-ari nung, nung song, no? As you mentioned, no? So, mas madali ang process, lalo na kung kino-contest, di ba? Pag kino-contest
Yes,
kasi, halimbawa, hindi, ako, akin lang to, maya-maya, yung pala, sinasabi nung kabila, the same song, hindi ako na dyan, di ba? So, kung hindi siya i-final sa proper authorities, so mas mahirap. Papatunayan mo pang sa'yo yun. Tama, ano? Samantalang kung
yes,
meron ka na, automatic. Tama po ba?
yes. Parang ganun. Parang automatic na, kasi mayroon ka naman nakafile na doon. So kasi pag wala yun, parang pwede pa
Mhm.
i-contest yung ownership. Sabi, hindi, parang nagkapareho tayo ng
Mhm.
isip eh. Pero pag nakafile na doon,
Mhm.
wala na siyang basis, kasi filed na, parang evidence na yun, strong evidence na yun. Kasi kung hindi nakafile yun, mag-present ka pa ng proof. Hindi, may witness ako. Itong another person saw me making this song, something like that. So, uh,
Mhm.
you need to present other proofs pa.
Mhm. Sir, what about yung mga thesis and dissertations? Do you think it has to be filed or automatic na yun pag nasa library yun owned by the school yun no? Pero anong suggestion nyo pag ano?
Actually, the thesis and dissertations belong to the students, no, to the researchers. But
Yeah.
it actually depends on the school's policy, no. So that's why it's very important. Like DLSUD DASMA, we have IP policy, and what is
Mhm.
there can be the basis of ownership. Like for example, if for example the provisions of the manual there, of the IP manual, would state that automatic, no, this the ownership will be the school, the ownership of the copyright will be the school, no, for example, subject to the
Mhm.
approval of students. So that could be
Mhm.
also a valid provision, but again, we need also to know that there is a law, and once this law conflicts with the provision, that could be also contested by the student. So it
Mhm.
really depends on the school policy. So sometimes some
Oh.
universities have that policy na para automatic na, they will say, oh, once it's filed in our in our library, it's already owned by the school. But again, it's subject
Mhm.
to contention of the other parties. No, but
Mhm.
if there is no IP, there is no policy, the thesis and dissertation actually belong to the student, because it is
So that.
is creative. But again, it's very muddled, because the school will say, "Oh yes, but we provide you with the advisor, and the advisor also input his ideas."
Mhm.
And so sometimes, if a patent is filed, the advisor is included, especially if he or she put a lot of inputs in the project, and sometimes he puts some of his ideas there, and
Mhm.
so sometimes it will be blurred. No, who really owns this? Is it this is the school? So usually some universities avoid this dilemma by putting it in their IP policy. So the IP policy will now govern the ownership. So that's why
Mhm.
first, if you want to put up an IP office or maybe an ITSO, it's a mandate that you must have these IP policies, no? Yeah, because it's the backbone
Mhm.
of your. If you have no IP policies, how can you rule? No, how can you move, or how can you um, acquire these rights? So this is actually governed by the IP policy.
Mhm. Okay, no? So, meaning to say, mas okay talaga kung meron kang IP policy na school na institutional level, ano? Para at least ay hindi siya general in context, no?
Yes, sir. There must be this IP policy, no? So that's the first. That's actually one of the first steps before putting up a IP office, no? Or an IP person in charge with IP. You need really to have these policies, and it should be approved,
Oh,
no? Institutionally. That's why our IP policy is also approved by the academic council,
mhm.
by
Yeah,
the
yeah.
higher ups, no? So because it's a very important document.
So I just want to clarify, sir, no? Mauuna yung IP policy before the creation ng IP office, tama ba?
Once you create an IP office, then you have already these persons. Then one of the first steps that you need to do is to craft an IP policy, because the
Okay.
IP policy is like, it's now like the constitution of the state. No? That so the office is the
Mm-hmm.
state, so it governs what will be the object of, because in the IP policy, it's like it will now contain the functions of your office. How will it
Mm-hmm.
give, let's say, financial rewards? No, how will it the function? What's the vision, the mission? What
Mm-hmm.
are the different offices, no, that should govern, that is under the IP? Now, what are who are the persons, the
Mm-hmm.
officials that so it like the IP policy is like, without it, the office will not be able to function well, because it has no governing, um, like bylaws, for example, no, or
Mm-hmm.
of corporation. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one also of, for example, before you put up a corporation, you need to have bylaws, constitution also of the corporation. So it's like that. So without it, uh, there could be no. It's really difficult for the office to function.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so sir, maliwanag yun. No? Mauuna muna yung creation ng parang coordinator ng office, no, to draft the IP policy of the school, right? No? So, in an institutional level, itong syempre mauuna yung appointment ng, let's say, coordinator, no, to draft the policy, no, to initially, no, spearhead the draft of the policy, no. So itong coordinator na to, no, like you, no, you are a coordinator, no, um, kinakailangan na syempre dapat may background na about IP policies or IP intellectual property laws. Tama po ba?
Uh, and not necessarily, because, for example, if there are many persons that are in the school that are very good with IP, you can also tap these people. And actually, IP policy is not the work of one man. It's the work of different offices, no? Representatives of different colleges.
Mm,
They will
yeah,
input their
yeah, yeah.
ideas. So it's not the work of the coordinator only, like appoints persons to help him, maybe 10 to 15 persons, and these 15 persons will now craft, no, this policy. So it's consultative, and then it's not,
Mhm,
because the IPOFIL also provides training how to craft policy. So it's
mhm,
not really difficult, because one of the foundation seminar, you need to attend foundation seminars, and one of the topics there will be crafting an IP policy, and we will provide you with
mhm,
samples. So the coordinator will just do is to disseminate this information to his members. Like he has 10 representatives from all sectors in the university, and
mhm,
once they have read these manuals, these IP policies from other universities, they will now have an idea, and it's easy for them now to give their inputs, because they have already a sample.
mhm. Okay, no? So you mentioned about IPOFIL, no? Para sa ating mga kabayani, mga kampi, no? Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng IPOFIL? Pwede ba
Uh, the
natin
IPOFIL,
babanggit?
yes, the IPOFIL is in Taguig, no? It's the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, and actually you need to go there. Although now it's online, no, you need to
Mhm.
file if you want to file your inventions to protect it. File patents for your inventions, you need to go there or to file it in their website. No, so if you want
Mhm.
to protect your trademark, then you need to file it in their website also. Industrial designs, utility models, no, geographical origin. So it's like the office in charge with intellectual property. So we have, for example,
Mhm.
like Department of Health in charge with health or transportation. This IPOFIL office is in charge with all related rights relevant to IP. And this IPOFIL office is very unique because it has actually no budget from the government. It's self-sustaining,
Mhm.
like it earns from the patents filed, from the filings, no, from the cases. So
Mhm.
because it earns a lot, so it does not have funding from the government. It's self-sustaining. It supports itself from the filings and from other incomes relevant to IP. So it's kind of it's a good branch, no, of the government because there is no need to fund it.
Mhm. Oo. So, saan po ang office ng iGovern?
It's in McKinley Road in Taguig, no, in front of the Venice Mall. So Venice Mall, right in front, you crossed it, and then there is this a building. So on the right side, we have you have there the intellectual property office of the Philippines. Also, there are plans to transfer it inside UP Diliman. No, actually, the what do you call this, the stone, no, that is supposed to be the symbol of the creation of the building is already
Mhm.
there. So but as of now it's still in Fort Bonifacio, no, in Taguig,
Mhm.
the McKinley Road.
Mhm.
So we don't know if the plan to transfer it to UP Diliman will
Mhm.
push through. So just in front, you just say in front Venice Mall, in front of Venice Mall. It's a famous mall.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, going back dun sa inyong ano, no, sa as ano no, as a coordinator of IP office natin, no. Ano usually the mga challenges that you face during your coordinatorship, no? Ano yung mga na observations ninyo relative to mga filing, no? Marami ba ang nagpa-file or is there already an awareness, no? Do we have ang ating academic community ba ay aware na about this one? Ano yung observation po ninyo?
So in our school, for example, it's the IP, the faculty and the students know that there is an IP office, but sometimes they do not take advantage. So it's the very minimal filings yet, but with the current undergrad research manual, I think this will improve because the IP policy is now embedded there. Like, for example, if your thesis has a patentable quality, then there is no need for a final defense. So I think
Mhm.
within the next few years, the IP capacity of the school will improve. But in the past years, since there is no such incentive, no, there is really very minimal. No? But as of now, because of certain academic rewards, like there's a certain amount of money that will be given if you get a patent certificate from IFFIL or for a
Mhm.
model, then it's still I think in the next few years, or no, in the next decade, the filings in our school will improve, no, because there are now incentives, and there are now many things to consider, no, unlike before that they do not have, they felt na, oh no, it's not really for us, something like that. So they do not really take advantage, and so we need really to take extra effort to find these patentable products not produced by the thesis and dissertation. So uh, usually in the school there is already this awareness, and we have tried to propagate this awareness, no, by conducting training seminars and dissemination, no. But again, we need really to push, no, push harder for the faculty and the students to take advantage and see and the benefits, no, that is provided, because there's a lot of benefits that will be taken, no, from IP, and it's very so as we say, it could mean a lot, no, like you would earn a lot really if you will be able to take advantage and have your product patented, no, have your um, book copyrighted, no, if you want, or protect your trademark, protect your utility model, your industrial design. So yes, no?
Medyo nawala sa ako, pasensya na. Wala tayo sa ere kanina. No?
Sandali.
Pero,
Yan yung technology.
yan ang ating tawag dito, ang limitation ng technology in different areas. No? So, anyway, so sa experience niyo, meron ba tayong mga infringements sa school ng IP law?
Yes, there have been cases of infringement, no? Like for example, there was this tailor in the Facebook, no? He it manufactures caps like apparel, and they use the trade Das Marina. So we called the attention and we said that it's a violation, and she should refrain, no, from using the trademark or the La Salle Dasma is the symbol, no, like the logo is protected, no? And there have been another there's another case, like also with the selling of similar items, no, using again like, so it's a faculty, so again was reprimanded, no, just this being told that you must desist, no, from using the school. So usually those are just some violations. In the previous case, there is this I think this store or school that used also like dasma, using the Lasal dasma, just using, in a local lingo, and I think it was called its attention that you cannot use that because that is protected, no. So usually sa trademark yung violations sa school natin, no, but yes, doon.
So sir, do you think itong mga violations na ito ay intentional or hindi, they don't know that they are already violating?
These are unintentional. They do not actually know that they are violating, but as we have said, ignorance of the law excuses no one, and intellectual property law is a special law. The intention does not count. No, it's there is intention only applies to the revised penal code, but this is a special law. Once you violate it, intention does not count. No? So there is a violation even if you do not know if there is the intention to violate the law, because this is meron tayong dalawang concept dyan, yung mala in se, mala prohibita, no? So mala prohibita applies to special penal law, and in mala in se lang yung magka-count yung intention. Kaya kahit walang intention, they are still liable.
Liable pa rin. So mga kabayani, no, mga kampi, dapat po ay magkaroon tayo ng awareness. Ignorance of the law excuses no one. No? So kailangan ay medyo aware po tayo sa ating mga ginagawa. Malay nyo meron na pala tayong violation sa ating mga batas o infringement, no, sa intellectual property law. No? Sir Aims, no, wala na tayong oras, no? Nakaka 7 minutes na lang ang oras natin, no? So
Yes, sir.
bago kayo magbigay ng ng last message, no? Gusto gusto ko lang banggitin yung ating mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. Kanina, hindi ko nabanggit na wala na iba, no? Si Ma'am Nance Cayetano ng Montalban, no? Good evening, Doc Manny and Dr. Rocina. Mabuhay po kayo. No?
Good evening, good evening.
Also watching Stephen, Guru, Nancy, and Angelino David watching. Chris Salinas, no, our grad school student, of course, also watching. Of course, our friend from Belgium, no, Lucien Isbitel from ICLO is also watching. Sir, good evening. And good morning. Yes, ICLO, Belgium. Lagi po siya nanonood ng ating Belgian Rizalist, no? Ang ating secretary, si Jeannie Flores, nanonood sa atin ngayon, no? And, well, one of the known artists, no, nationwide and worldwide, no? Si Sir Nick Shaw, Australia. Magandang gawin po, ano? So, ito nga, ano, si Sir Nick Shaw ay isang artist, no? At kailangan ng, siya po ay isang, ano, no? Yung naglililok sila ng, ano, no? Ng mga on metal materials, no? Mga monumento, no? So, yung mga ganun, sir, kailangan talaga ng, ano yan, no? Kailangan na, ano yan, patent ba yan? Patent ang ganyan?
Copyright.
Copyright, no? Copyright siya, no? Okay, no? So, buti na yung sigurado, no? Na ina-apply, no? So, yun po, no? Sir Aims, no? Final word para sa ating mga kabayani, mga kampi, no? Ano ba ang, kung halimbawa ang isang kakampi, ang isang kabayani ay merong sinulat, kinanta, tinula, no? Ano ang the best na may papayo nyo para hindi maprotektahan sila sa kanilang mga ginawa?
Yun, mga kabayani, no? Kung meron kayong mga inventions, you file it in the IPO field, no? Kasi ano na tayo ngayon, first to file, no? It's not dati kasi first to invent, ngayon first to file. So you need to protection to your hindi lang naman product, no? Pwedeng process, no? And then sa mga copyrightable materials natin, we need to give them protection also, make sure, no, that nobody will steal, no, for our creations, because we work hard for it, so we deserve to earn from it, or to our names be attached to it, no. This is a moral right. That's one of the moral right of being a copyright owner. So mga kabayani, let us continue, no, to just really file with our intellectual property rights, so that our products, our ideas, no, in certain books, songs, will be protected, because it's the world now is very fast changing, no. It's very easy to copy with there are so many technologies around, so it's really very difficult not to be not somebody to have steal our ideas, right? So just continue to patronize Philippine products, no. These are trademark, and some of these are also patented, and like as a kabayani, we need to love our own, no. Yes, and special thanks also to Dr. Calairo for giving us a chance to the IP office at DASMA to explain, no, certain topics about the IP.
Okay po, sir. On that note, maraming salamat. I know it's already 9 o'clock, no? And thank you very much for providing us an insight, no? Your insight and a primer, no? About IP policies in school and in an individual level applying for copyright, patent, no? And about trademark. So, sir, thank you very much. No? And
Thank you.
yes, sir. Huwag mo na kayo aalis, just turn off your camera and babalikan ko po kayo mamaya. Huwag mo na kayo aalis.
Okay, sir.
So, yan po ang ating bisita ngayong gabi, si Dr. Jose Aims Rocina. Siya po ang coordinator ng IP Office o Intellectual Property Office ng DLSU University Dasmariñas. At well, napaka-importante po nung binanggit niya dahil sa pinoprotektahan nito ang ating mga creations, no? Ang ating mga tula, mga likhang sining, no? At iba pa, no? Mga invention. No? So, para sa ating lahat, siguro kung meron tayong mga ganito, dapat talaga i-apply natin para magkaroon tayo ng legal evidence na tayo yun. Hindi yung magpa-file tayo ng case against sa iba na pinapatunayan na atin natin yun. Ngayon pa lang, na meron na tayo, dapat i-apply po natin. So, magandang gabi po at well, lahat po tayo ay sa tingin ko ay dapat observance sa paligid natin, sa ginagawa natin para at least hindi po tayo nang nakaka-violate ng iba na hindi natin na yung pala ay may violation na ano na dahil sa akala natin wala, akala natin tayo una, yung pala meron ng iba. So, well, with this topic, sana po ay natuto tayo at nakagandang tayo ng kaalaman sa ating mga kabayan, mga kampi, para ma-empower po tayo sa ating buhay. So, maraming salamat po at by next week po, ang pag-uusapan natin naman ay ang best practices ng isang research office sa isang institution. So, that, maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayo lahat, mag-ingat po tayo, mababa na po ang ating alert level, pero syempre nandiyan pa rin ang problema ng pandemya. So, ingat lang po tayo palagi at magandang gabi po.
Mga kabayani, inaanyayahan namin ang lahat na i-like at mag-subscribe sa ating YouTube channel. At huwag kalimutan pindutin ang ating notification bell para makatanggap kayo ng mga bagong video ng ating programa. Ang programang ito ay mapapanood din natin ng simultaneous broadcast sa APC Channel 31 Best TV. Ako ang inyong host, si Doc Manny, ang inyong kabayani.